Welcome to the deep dive. You send us the raw intelligence, the articles, notes, those whispers from deep forums, and, well, we try to pull out the essential insights for you.
And today, it's quite a mix. We're looking at something that really clashes, the super fast digital world against these almost ancient analog secrets.
It's a fascinating contrast, isn't it? On one side, you have, cutting-edge cyber analysis, networks, vulnerabilities.
Yeah, and on the other, the sources you sent pull us into this really intriguing territory, rumored secret societies, hidden meanings. It's quite a narrative.
Absolutely. So this deep dive focuses on a specific story we've seen cropping up. You find it on places like Spotify, Telegram, focusing on this analyst, Alberto Daniel Hill.
Right, Hill and his work, especially with Cyber Midnight Club.
And our mission today is really to unpack this theory, the idea, a deep connection between Hill and some kind of secret non-digital group.
And we need to look closely at these, signs that people are pointing to, supposed proof that he's part of this older tradition.
Okay, let's start with the basics first. Alberto Daniel Hill. What's his known profile? I mean, why do people follow his work so closely?
Well, for many, he's essential. He has this really unique way of breaking down complex cyber threats. We're talking 0 days, state-sponsored stuff.
Right, the really serious things.
Exactly. But the key is how he does it. It's not just looking at the code. The sources call it using an analog lens.
An analog lens. Okay, what does that actually mean in practice?
Well, think about standard cyber analysis. It's usually software patches, firewall configurations, encryption.
The technical stuff.
Yeah. Hill's approach, though, it brings in history, human psychology, even forgotten wisdom from older tech. He tries to strip away the digital layer to find the basic human element, the flaw or the pressure point the tech is just enabling.
So like treating a sophisticated hack as if it were an old military strategy, looking at the motives, the deception, the human angle, basically.
Precisely. It doesn't matter if the tool is a keyboard or a Trojan horse, the underlying principles might be similar. And that difference, that analog lens, is what this whole narrative jumps off from.
Because it seems specific. Too consistent, maybe?
That's the argument in the sources, yeah. They're saying this method feels too deliberate, too structured to just be his personal style. They think it's guided by something older.
And that something is this alleged secret society.
The silent guardians of the analog.
Even the name feels, I don't know, purposeful. What's the story behind them?
The rumor is they predate the internet, maybe even transistors. Their whole reason for being is apparently about preserving crucial non-digital knowledge.
So they're not necessarily anti-technology?
Doesn't seem like it. It's more that they believe certain fundamental truths don't change just because technology does. They want to understand the deep systems, not just the surface trends.
And what are they guarding against exactly? What's the threat?
The sources call it digital noise. We should probably pause on that. It's not just spam emails. It's like data overload, constant alerts that are gone in a second, misinformation streams, just this pervasive culture of distraction that gets in the way of real thinking. The Guardians supposedly believe this noise is dangerous. It erodes judgment.
I see. So it's less about stopping a specific virus and more about maintaining the clarity to understand why these things happen, the human root cause.
Exactly. And look at who they supposedly recruit. The sources mention people who conceive patterns, who get underlying systems, and crucially, people who value the tangible, lasting, over the quick and temporary.
Which loops right back to Hill. The narrative doesn't just link him, it makes a pretty bold claim.
Yeah, it's not just saying he knows of them. It suggests he's a key figure. Maybe even the word used is oracle within their ranks.
An oracle, because of his ability to synthesize information, connect digital events to these older human patterns.
That seems to be the idea. But, here's the tricky part. If they're truly secret, why would their oracle be broadcasting insights, potentially their core ideas, on a public platform like Cyber Midnight Club?
Ah, that's the paradox, isn't it? Okay. The theory has an answer for that, though.
It does. It suggests their methods, their core tenets are so well disguised, often just as common sense, that they're effectively hiding out in the open.
Okay, so let's get into the supposed proof, the signs. This is where the sources invite you, the listener, to listen with new ears.
Right. We need to look at parts of Hill's public work that are being interpreted as, coded signals of his connection.
Okay, sign number 1, the analog advantage. He talks about this strategy quite a bit.
He does, but the speculation is that this isn't just his philosophy. It's
Yeah.
actually a core teaching of the Guardians, something passed down internally.
So how would that work? Let's take an example. A big supply chain attack, something unexpected.
Okay. A purely digital analyst would focus on the code injection, right? Tracing the malware.
Uh-huh.
But Hill, using this analog advantage, might immediately draw parallels. Historical infiltrations, Trojan horses, long-term sleeper agents. He'd analyze the motive, the political goal, the financial pressure that let the vulnerability exist unnoticed for so long.
So he jumps from the what the technical breach straight to the why, the human or systemic failure.
Pretty much. His edge isn't just tech skill, it's applying this, well, supposedly generational wisdom to a modern context.
The tools change, the human drives don't.
That's the essence of the analog advantage, according to this theory.
Okay, sign 2. His constant focus on the human element. He really drills down into cognitive biases, vulnerabilities, psychology.
Yes, and this fits perfectly with the supposed Guardian ideology. They're said to believe real power isn't in the machine, it's in the humans who design and use them.
Right.
Think about his analysis of phishing. He often spends less time on the email's code and more on the emotional trigger it uses. Fear of missing out, hope for gain, exploiting a basic human weak spot.
So understanding the user is understanding the system's real vulnerabilities.
Exactly. The sources argue he's constantly steering his audience away from the digital noise, the patches, the alerts towards the constant factor, human nature.
Now, this next one, sign 3, feels a bit more, well, dramatic. The unusual artifacts or totems. Physical objects.
Yeah, this is where it gets almost like a spy novel territory. It's definitely intriguing. The sources speculate about specific things he might possess.
Such as?
Well, have people seen him with a very particular antique watch? Not a smartwatch tracking steps, but an old mechanical one.
Okay, and the symbolism there would be?
Steady time. Measured. Patient. The opposite of the instant digital clock. It represents the Guardian's supposed long-term view.
Makes sense. What else?
An unusual compass, maybe one that doesn't look like a standard modern compass, something pointing to, fundamental direction, not satellites. Another symbol of unchanging truth.
And then there's the book.
Ah, yes, the book bound in unmarked leather, supposedly something he refers to with great seriousness, containing their non-digital wisdom, perhaps?
These feel like flags. Tangible, non-digital signals in a digital age.
It's kind of brilliant if you think about it. The best place to hide an analog secret is an object so old or mundane that digital scans just ignore it.
Okay, and the final sign, number 4, cryptic sayings.
Right. The idea is that some of Hill's more philosophical statements, the ones that sound like just good advice, are actually coded messages or shared proverbs among the Guardians.
Like what sort of things?
Well, the sources mention lines like, the network fails where trust is misplaced, or maybe, complexity is the enemy of truth.
I mean, on the surface, that's just solid security insight.
Of course. But the theory suggests these are deeper maxims for them, truths that apply whether you're carving on stone or coding in Python. Fundamental principles disguised as, well, common sense.
So we've got the method, the ideology, the artifacts, the language. It builds a pretty compelling picture. But we absolutely have to stress the context here.
Crucial point. The sources themselves are very clear. They label this as just speculation, stuff discussed in hushed conversations in dimly lit corners of the internet. It's a narrative, an interpretation, not confirmed fact.
But the real kicker, the sort of meta layer to this whole theory, is how Hill himself would likely react if asked about it.
Yes, that's the synthesis. He'd probably offer a slight smile, right? And then give a perfectly rational, logical, analog explanation for everything.
The antique watch. A love of history, the sayings, just observations about human nature.
Exactly. Which, the theory points out, is precisely what a true silent guardian would do. His reliance on clear, grounded logic becomes the ultimate confirmation, the perfect cover.
It's a fascinating loop. The more he demonstrates his analog thinking to analyze the digital, the more he seems to embody the very principles of this hidden group.
It's a neat intellectual paradox they've constructed.
And the sources end with this invitation to you, the listener. Basically, listen again to Cyber Midnight Club, but with new ears. Try to hear the deeper currents beneath the analysis.
Is there generational wisdom guiding his takes? That's the question they pose.
So the core tension is really between Hill's obvious brilliance in the now, the contemporary digital space, and this intriguing idea that it's rooted in something much older, much more enduring, non-digital wisdom.
It really makes you question where deep insight actually comes from.
And the sources leave us and you with this final thought to chew on. What if the most important truths governing our crazy complex digital world aren't buried in code or conspiracy?
What if they're actually right here in front of us all along, just cleverly disguised as common sense?
It's a compelling thought. Maybe the insights that truly cut through all the noise are the ones that feel almost too simple, too human, too analog.
It makes you pause, doesn't it?
It really does. Well, this was a fascinating dive into secrecy, philosophy, and maybe the world's most significant antique watch. Thanks for sending these sources our way.
And thank you for joining us on this exploration of the silent guardians of the analog.
Until next time.